You are listening to the EdTech Takeout from Grantwood AEA, an educational service agency that supports school districts in eastern Iowa with a focus on equity, excellence, and efficiency in education for all children.
Welcome to episode 37 of the EdTech Takeout, the podcast that serves up bite-sized technology tips for teachers. My name's Jonathan Wiley, and here is Mindy Carney.
Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to 2018.
Yeah, I know, we're back after a little hiatus.
Better late than never.
Yeah, right. You're starting up the audio this morning, you're like, gosh, I haven't done this forever. No idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, so let's hope this sounds okay, because I think we're all a bit podcast rusty right now.
A little rusty, yeah.
How would you like to start our first episode back in 2018?
Should we start the usual way with news and follow-up?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I got some podcast love to share, Mindy.
You do?
Yeah, because since the last time we were broadcasting, we got mentioned in a few places, and I thought it might just be nice to say thank you to some people who were kind enough to include us on some best-of lists. And we had a mention from the nice people over at ISTE, who named us as one of the top 16 EdTech podcasts. Yep. Which was awesome.
It was awesome.
What was less awesome is that we were the only podcast that didn't get hyperlinked. So, and I believe that's still the case. So, if you're listening, we'd love a link to our show homepage at dlgwaea.org/podcast.
Yeah, we're listed with a lot of great people, so that was exciting. We were also mentioned by Matt Miller and Ditch That Textbook in his blog post called 20 Great Podcasts for Educators and How to Get to Them. And we've mentioned Matt Miller before on our show and what great stuff he does. So that was an honor, too, to be recognized in his blog post.
Yep. Thank you, Matt. And our online friend, Mr. Eric Kurtz, listed us for one of his 11 great EdTech podcasts on his Control-O-Achieve blog. So.
Yeah, Eric does a good job definitely sharing our name, and we really appreciate that. He's also somebody who does some great things. He's like a Google whiz, so it's always nice to have him mention us too.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Well, speaking of Matt Miller, I noticed a tweet from him recently that was in relation to a quick Google update, and that was the return of the camera to docs and slides and
what else?
Drawings?
Drawings, maybe? Yeah.
Because Google took that one away. You used to be able to go insert image from camera, and it would pop up and let you take a picture of things.
Right.
And that went away, which I think was we mentioned it was like a Flash plugin type of thing, and they must have found another way to do it without Flash because, hey, it's back.
Yeah, people are very excited about it on Twitter.
Yeah, I remember going to a workshop with Ramsey Musalem once, and he was talking about how he uses technology with kids in his classroom, and one of the things he used was that feature right there, because he's a science teacher, I believe.
Right. Yep.
And I think a lot of the stuff you do in science and in math as well sometimes is hard to do on a computer, because sometimes you want to draw stuff out or sketch them, and he had us doing stuff that he did with his kids, and basically what he did was he got a Google Slides presentation up, had a slide for every kid in the class, and he said, okay, use the camera, take a picture of your working out, put it on your slide so that everyone can see what everybody else was working on. And
which I mean, you could have still done. It just is an extra step to have to take care of all those things. So it's nice that it's all right there in one spot.
Yep.
People are very happy. Thank you, Google.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so you've got a new challenge coming up.
Well, yeah, after much harassment and a lot of bad memory loss on my part, I'm going to take your Chromebook challenge, Mindy.
Yeah. Oh, finally. A year later, but yep.
Is it a year later?
I think it probably has been.
It's been close to that.
When was it that I spilled my coffee on my computer? It was probably about a year ago.
Well, I felt like, Jen Giffen was talking about it on Twitter and how she was going to do it, and that reminded me that I still haven't done it yet. So I got my calendar out and I looked at next week, and I thought,
made sure there was nothing going on.
Made sure that I didn't have to do anything too taxing. Well, I mean, things like podcasting, we have a workflow for that. I'm not saying you can't do it on the Chromebook, but I just don't want to work out how to do that.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to give it a go next week and see what Chromebooks we have lying around here. I know we've got some newer ones and see how that works out.
Yeah, I think you're going to like it.
You think so? Mm-hmm. I think I'll miss my iPad.
Yeah, you use your iPad more than I do.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes.
Well, and it still turns into a tablet.
We have some that still turn into a tablet. Yes.
Yeah. It's going to be fine.
I'll have to try like some Play App Store things. I don't know if I've tried that before.
I haven't either.
Okay. Some Android apps. Okie dokie. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Moving straight on to the main course.
You betcha. Served to you piping hot, getting jiggy with Gmail.
What did you say?
You heard what I said. You wrote it. You just made me be the one to say it.
I did want you to say that, yeah.
Yeah, so we're kind of thinking of some different topics for this year. And we're like, you know what? Let's do a Gmail episode and just kind of share what we do. We get a lot of email every day, as I'm sure lots of people do, and how we kind of stay on top of it. And then maybe just some little known things about Gmail that you might want to try out. So how do you stay on top of that inbox, Wiley?
So I do have a system I thought might be worth sharing. And everybody has their own systems and what works for them and what doesn't work for them. But mine I took from a book I read called Getting Things Done, which was written by Dave Allen. And one of the things I took away from that, it's a whole productivity type book on how to keep organized and stay sane, which is something we absolutely need in this job. But one of the things I took away from that is email management. And he said there's basically 3 things you should look at with your email. So when you get an email in and you read it, the first thing is the 2-minute rule. Okay. Which is if you can reply and answer and do whatever you need with that email in 2 minutes or less, then you should do it now. Immediately. Okay. Yeah. I can get behind that. Gets that straight out your inbox. Yep. If it's something that needs a little bit more thought or a little bit more consideration, or there's other things going on that make it more complicated that you can't do it in 2 minutes or less, then these emails fall into one of 2 categories generally. Okay. One is action, where you have to do something. Sure. So you have to go research something, go find something, go look for a date or schedule a conference or whatever. So you got to do something with it, or you're waiting for somebody else to do something. Yeah. So with that kind of rule, I generally keep my inbox pretty empty, and in theory I could have inbox 0 every day, because I use the 2-minute rule to get rid of the emails that I can do in 2 minutes or less, and the others go into a folder or they get labeled in Gmail either with action or waiting for. And so there you go. I mean, it's kind of a cheat way to get things out my inbox, but it gets things out my inbox and puts them somewhere else. When I have time to work on email, I just go to one of those 2 labels and see what's in there. And so do you regularly schedule then, like, for your waiting fors? Like, sometimes, you might be waiting for a response from someone and they don't get back to you and they don't get back to you. Do you sometimes just go back into your waiting for folder just to see who I'm waiting for and how long it's been? And I don't use Boomerang or things like that, which I know will do things like that and remind you and ping it back in a few days. Right. And we'll talk about maybe Google Inbox, which will snooze things for you and bring things back in the same way. But I just try to make a habit of going in there and checking things out. Because if I don't go to the waiting for one, then I don't go to the action one, and then things don't get done. So my next question then is, how often do you check your email? I mean, my email gets checked in some form or another daily. I mean, for sure. Well, daily for sure, but like how many times a day? That's what I should ask. How many times a day are you in your email? I don't know. It just depends on what I'm doing. Like, if I'm preparing something, like a workshop or some PD or something, I try and close my email and leave it closed, because if it's open in another tab and I see the number and then I go look at it and you start freaking out, I get distracted and I go down rabbit holes I don't want to go down. Yeah. But, so what about you? How do you organize the massive emails in your inbox? So I am kind of an email fanatic myself. Even having like one unread email in my inbox makes me crazy. So
I, like you, are often in my email, and I try and, like, if I'm walking to get fill my water bottle, I try and delete 3 emails. You know what I mean? Like, just, I'm constantly trying to keep it where I feel comfortable with it. I am an avid label user, so I have probably 40 labels in my inbox. And when I am done with an email, I put it into my label. So it's kind of like you're waiting for a folder, I guess, or you're waiting for a label. Because once I've sent it off, then I am done with it. You know, my action is over for now. And then the nice thing about labels, I think, is just being able to go back in and have all of your emails in there that are under that one topic. So I am also a firm believer in unsubscribing for emails. So I'm very picky about what email newsletters I subscribe to. I have a junk mail account that if I sign up for something and I need an email account, instead of using my work account that I'm in all the time, or even my personal account, I have a Yahoo account from when I was 18.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So I use that to sign up for stuff. And then, so I don't get all those like junk emails. So it kind of takes out that unsubscribe step for me too. And then another thing I do is I'll add my emails to calendar events. So if I have something going on and that I need some information from that email, I'll add it to the calendar event so I can just get rid of that email instead of having to go back and search for it. I'll copy and paste important parts of that email into calendar events so I can just get rid of it.
I need to do that more often. How do I do that?
You don't. You just have to copy and paste.
Oh, you just
it's
copy
just
and paste
school.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I've looked around to see if there's a way, and maybe there is, and I just don't know what it is. That would be super nice.
A handy extension or something to do that?
Like add to calendar events or something. But so I'll do that so that I don't have to search for emails, and then I can just get them out of my inbox. And then one thing that maybe seems a bit ridiculous that you might not see the connection for it, but I use starred documents in my drive like it's my business. And so if I get a email with a doc in it, I don't always want them in my drive. So it might be something that I know that I won't keep forever, or maybe that I even need in my drive at all. So I might keep it in my shared with me, but I'll star it so that I can find it quickly in my starred docs and drive. And so then I can just delete those emails and get rid of them. So that's kind of my workflow, I guess.
So do you just love it when you get your inbox down to 0?
And you send me an email?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I also shouldn't flaunt. I always think it's, you know what, if you're going to share with people that you have inbox 0, then you should be ready for a barrage of emails from the team. Like, oh, what are you doing right now? Hi, Mindy. I get those emails all the time. It's annoying.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when you get that email from Mindy and it's a screenshot of her inbox 0, it's almost like she's asking for email. So. Well,
it's always such an accomplishment, you know. You're like, oh, I love clean slate, and then you want to celebrate. But with this team, you don't get to celebrate, I guess.
I guess not.
You just get more emails. It's funny.
So one of the things that you were at a school recently showing them Gmail, and one of the things that was new to some of those folks was Gmail Labs.
Yeah, right.
Which are hidden away in the settings. And if you've never seen them before, they are a way to add some extra features or functionality to Gmail. Mm-hmm. So I thought we would maybe just talk about which ones we use and why. And
So the way labs work, though, is that it's just kind of like this idea Google has, and that they could go away at any time.
Yeah, they could go away. I mean, there's some that get promoted out of labs and become like a mainstream feature, like undo send used to be a lab, but it's now in your settings. And then others, they just go away because they don't get used, presumably. Right. So which ones do you use?
I use all of them.
You use all the labs? You got them all enabled?
I have all of them Oh, no, I have 2 that are not.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we should do the ones you don't use then.
Yeah, no.
This list used to be a lot longer. I'm looking at the list again
I know.
thinking there's not
when I
that
went
many
in there,
on there.
Yeah, when I went in there the other day to share with the district, I was like, geez, there used to be I felt like a lot in here. And a lot of them I'm like, I don't even know what that means. But no, I feel like they've really narrowed it down. So the first one on our list is Auto Advance. I have that turned on. Do you?
I do not have it.
You don't? So
what is Auto Advance?
This, I think, kind of helps too with my when I'm working in my email, is that when you complete an email and send one off, it will automatically pull up the next conversation so you don't go back to your inbox.
Oh, you see, I like going back to the inbox.
You do? You like to search and be like, which one can I take care of now?
Yeah, well, I like to be a little choosier with which ones I deal with first. And maybe I should take them in order and just work through them. But sometimes I'll see an email from Mindy and I really can't handle that right now. And then move on to something else.
So rude. Yes. Yeah. So I do have that turned on. And then when you go into your general settings, that pops up, and then you can choose whether you want to see the next newest conversation or whether you want to see the next oldest conversation or message. So once that's turned on, it shows up in your general settings.
All right. So that is Auto Advance.
Auto Advance by Bruce D.
I see that. Who are these people?
I don't know.
Are they Google people?
I'm assuming so, right?
Okay.
Well,
what else do you have turned on?
I have canned responses turned on.
I have them on, but I have to say I don't use them very often.
Yeah.
Do you use them often?
I use them when I am working on a course. So I have them saved, but I do.
Explain what canned responses are then.
Okay, so canned responses are like a saved email that you can just. It's kind of like a draft of an email that you can continuously pull up, and it's all built inside your email. So if you have it turned on. There's that little drop down arrow on the right hand corner of a new message that you're going to compose, and you'll find canned response there, and you just type in an email. After you click canned response, you have to name it, I think, and then you just create an email and it saves it, and so then you can pull up that email and it auto populates into the email every time. The other time I use it is at the beginning of the school year. So when you email me and say, so what do you send to your districts at the beginning of the school year? Yeah. It's a canned response.
Oh, it
email.
is? Mm-hmm. Okay.
So then I just have it every year, and then I can just tweak it and see, what I did last year or whatever. So
I should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should. You're right. Turn it on right now. One thing I will say about canned response, a little tip about it, is that you want to make sure that when you're creating a canned response that you delete out your signature in the canned response. Oh, because otherwise you'll have a double signature when you send it.
Ah, good tip.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
That's by Chad P.
That's by Chad P.
Good job, Chad.
So next on your list, what is next? Let's auto advance to the next one.
Yes. Google Calendar gadget.
Oh, I don't have that on.
You don't have that on either?
No, because it just takes up too much room.
It doesn't take up any room. It fits right into your little menu on the left-hand side. Okay, so the Google Calendar gadget just shows a small calendar inside your inbox of your appointments for the day. And it's small, and it fits in your left-hand navigation.
It's kind of small, but it adds clutter, I think.
It's clutter.
Okay.
Yeah, I have that one on. What about you?
Looking to see the ones we haven't talked about so far. I've got the unread message icon.
I have that too.
I do like that.
Yep.
I don't know why that's not just like
why is that not just a thing?
That should be. Yeah. I think Manu C should get the props for that.
Manu.
And just have that one installed by default for everybody, because we all. I guess maybe some people don't like to see how many new ones they've got because it nags at you.
Yeah, right. It does. Yeah.
And it distracts you from your productivity.
Yeah.
So
did we explain what it was though?
It shows you how many unread messages are in your inbox, and it shows it up on the tab at the top.
Though.
Yeah, next to the little favicon.
Be like, that's not even a. Yeah, I don't know why that's not a thing, but you can turn it on so that it is a thing for you.
Apparently it doesn't work with Safari, though.
Oh, really?
If you're a Mac user and use Safari, it says this lab works with Chrome, Firefox, and Opera.
What's Opera?
Opera's a browser.
It is.
You never tried Opera?
I guess not.
Okay.
What else do I have right side chat on.
Well, this is interesting. Go on.
Why?
Go on, yeah.
I didn't even know that wasn't a thing. Like I thought right side chat was just how my inbox was, so I must have turned it on at some point in time. But...
And this is one of those things that we talked about recently the other day. It's like, because you set all this stuff at once, and then years later you forget that you've turned these things on, and then you just think that's just the way it always is.
Yeah,
but it is a lab.
So where is the chat usually? On the left side?
The chat is usually on the left.
Okay.
At the bottom, underneath all your labels.
Oh, I bet you don't like that, because that's where the little Google Calendar gadget lives.
Well, here's the thing.
What's that?
It's kind of hidden, because there's like 3 tabs on the bottom left-hand corner now. One is for like your contacts, and one is for Hangouts, and one is for phone calls.
Okay.
So you don't see it all the time. And I had right side chat on for years.
Yeah.
And I've had it on for a long time, but I am trialing something out.
Oh.
I just turned it off like 2 days ago, maybe. And I am doing the preview pane instead.
Yeah, I have preview pane on, but I don't use it.
Yeah, so preview pane, it will let you have like a column of your mail on the left and then preview on the right. Kind of like if you used to use things like Outlook and stuff like that, or desktop mail clients like Safari Mail or Thunderbird and stuff like that. So that's what I've enabled. And when I had right side chat on and preview pane, it just like squished too much of the screen. So I took out the right side chat, and it might come back. Yeah. We'll see if I like preview pane or not.
Yeah. I've tried preview pane too. It's not bad. I like it. Once you turn it on, it shows up, because then you can still, like I said, I have mine turned on, but I don't use it. But I think it shows up then in your view, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It does. Yep.
Okay. What else? Do you have custom keyboard shortcuts? That sounds like something you would do.
It sounds like something I would do, but it is not something I have enabled.
Me neither.
So that is not there. I don't have the mark as red button.
I don't either.
I don't really see why I would need that. I mean, maybe.
I think Stacy uses it.
Does she?
Yeah. But I'm guessing she gets maybe in... So the way the mark as red button turns on is like, imagine you're in a conversation and someone has been replying all, and now everyone is replying all, and you have lost interest in that conversation, or you're no longer involved in it. You can click on that mark as red button, right? And it just... Will it archive it then, or what happens to it? Do you know?
I don't think it archives it. It just... So, I mean... If the conversation's going on and you're no longer a part of it, you can hit mark as red, and you don't have to read it, and then it just goes. Right. But yeah.
Okay.
Multiple inboxes?
I don't actually have multiple inboxes in this inbox. I just have 2 separate email accounts.
Yes.
And I don't view them all in one place.
Me too. I do not have that on, and I do not have smart labels on.
I don't either. Okay, so I didn't have 4 things on. Smart labels, I feel like I'm not sure that I know how smart labels work. Do you? I've heard Stacy talk about them before, but I don't know how they work.
So it works. It looks like it works similar to filters.
Yeah.
In terms of categorizing your email, and I use filters for that. Maybe smart labels would be better.
Yeah.
But I haven't dug into all that it does yet, so I just stick with filters because they work for me right now. All right. So since we mentioned filters, do you have filters set up or not?
I've only used filters once, and it was for when I turned them on, and I put 2 of my friends' email addresses in so that whenever they emailed me, they'd get an email back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That just was like a funny Bitmoji for the day.
Oh.
Just for a couple days I did. It was fun. Yeah, I used it for fun. But otherwise, no, I don't use it because... like I said, I don't get a lot of... I feel like people use... Why do you use filters? Maybe that's what I should ask. Why do you... Because you said you use them. Why do you use them?
I use them for some different things. Like, for example, our team has an email account, digitallearning@twaea.org.
Yeah.
And I forward that to my inbox because I kind of help monitor that.
Yeah.
And it comes from our website if somebody fills in the contact form or something like that. And... I have it to skip the inbox. I have it just go to a different label, and that's fine. So that it just doesn't fall in my inbox all the time. Or sometimes I have one set up for one of my schools actually, and it labels everybody at their domain address with the name of their school. And it says never send it to spam. So sometimes, emails get lost in spam and stuff like that. So if it comes with at yourschool.k12.ie.us, then it automatically gets this label applied so that I can click on that label and see all the emails from my school and check out them. I have some for like some listservs. Again, just to skip the inbox and mark as read.
Yeah.
And then if I ever want to go back and see what the latest happenings are in that Google group or whatever, then I can go to the label and check it out. But
sure.
It's just sometimes to help prevent email overload.
Yeah, right. That's good.
But they're handy. They can be used for different things. For a while there, I was getting some email that wasn't getting flagged as spam for some reason. And even though I was marking it as spam, so I took the email address and said, always delete this email whenever I get it. And it just it goes away. So
got it.
Take care of those stalkers.
Oh, jeez. Your fans.
Yeah.
My loyal fans.
Yeah. So, what else have you got? Why don't we do like a speed round?
Okay.
Other tips and tricks of things that we don't need to go into in too much detail, but power tips for Gmail.
Okay. I also have pet peeves. Can I add those in?
You can add pet peeves for sure.
Number one pet peeve is please add a profile picture to your email address.
Oh, yeah. That is a good one.
Especially, and maybe it's just on my side of things. Like sometimes I'll get emails from people and I meet a lot of people, right? From a lot of different places. And so I'll get an email and I'll be like, I don't quite remember what this conversation was about or who's this person. And then they have like no profile picture. So I can't even click on it, or I have to go and then I'll do like a Twitter search or I'll look up their school district or something like that and try and track down who it is because I'm pretty good with faces, not always with names. So please add a profile picture. You can do that in your settings.
Settings, general, my picture.
Yeah.
And you can hit change picture and you can upload a picture.
Yeah.
Make sure you choose some random avatar. Just Mindy.
That's the other thing is I'm like, oh, they have a profile picture, which is great, but it's like their school logo. Oh, no. Not helpful at all.
Do you use Google Inbox, Tal?
No, I don't.
Okay. I think I know a couple of people at Grant Wood that do. It's kind of a reinvention of Gmail. Mm-hmm. And, Gmail has, as much as people love Gmail, it is pretty much stayed the same forever, hasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
And it's got a very traditional design and stuff like that. So, inbox.google.com, if you are interested in trying it, it's a newer, fresher, different way to look at your email. They do try and bundle things into your inbox based on they got an automatic label for trips where if you've ever got any flight confirmation emails and things like that, it will put them all in there. Purchases, so if you ever get an emailed receipt and you don't need to label these or filter these, it just collects them and learns what those things are.
Okay.
And it's also got like a snooze function built into, so you can snooze emails and come back and get them later and things like that. You can pin emails and just got some interesting ways of sorting.
Pinning an email, that's interesting. I like that idea.
So, yeah.
Okay.
It's available if people want to try it. I don't use it, but I think it's just because I'm too stuck in my ways.
Yeah, right. Once you figure out your workflow, you've nailed it. Yeah.
I think that would be it, yeah. But the people I know that use it love it.
Yeah.
And other people are too scared to try it.
Well, maybe next week while you're doing your Chromebook challenge, I'll try the inbox challenge.
I thought you were going to say do that as well.
I mean, as long as you're switching things up.
Well, why not? Yeah, throw caution to the wind.
Yep.
And we could report back on a Chromebook challenge and an inbox challenge.
I'm going to give it a try. Ooh, okay. So this was something that people often don't know is there, and it's the undo send. And what undo send is allows you to recall an email. So it delays how long the emails kind of stays with you before it's sent off. And you can find that in settings under general as well. I think it's like the 5th one down. And you have to turn it on. And then what happens is if you send, and then you get to choose how long the duration is. So it's 5, 10, 20, and 30 seconds, I think. And what happens then is you send your email, and then there's a little prompt that pops up in yellow at the top of your inbox, and it'll say undo. Would you like to undo? And you can click undo, and then it'll pull that email back down into your inbox. So a lot of times when I use this, it's because I forgot to attach a document.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're like, okay, I'm this, whatever. And then you're like, oh, I didn't even link that, or I didn't add the document. Or I catch like a typo, like right as I'm sent, you know, like you catch your eye. Mm-hmm. So it saved me quite a few times. So I have mine actually sent to 30 seconds. So it gives me plenty of time to think about it, you know, before it actually goes. And then that little prompt disappears, and then it sends. So a lot of times what I hear people say, though, is, oh, someone's not getting my email, or I'm sending an email and they're not getting it. It's probably because your undo send is holding on to that email for just a short amount of time before it actually sends it.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll be in the same room as someone and you'll want to forward them an email.
Yeah, like, I'll just send it to you.
Yeah, have you got it yet? No, where is it? And it's like, well, it's still in your limbo. Outbox. It's not gone yet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You can also add different email accounts to your Gmail and check that from other places. So if you had like a Yahoo account you set up when you were 18 or something like that, you could pull that into your Gmail as well if you wanted to. And there is a lab for multiple inboxes if you wanted to separate them out, or you could have them all into the one inbox if you wanted to. And Gmail just recently updated that for their mobile apps on Android and iOS. So it used to be on that Gmail mobile app, you could only add Gmail accounts or school Google accounts, but now you can add Outlook, Yahoo, AOL, whatever it is that you have on there too. So it's
good.
Bring all your email into one place.
Oh, that sounds terrifying. Yes.
It kind of does.
Yeah, I kind of like separate inboxes. Desktop notifications. You can turn on desktop. It's a tongue twister. Desktop notifications. So what that is it just flashes when you have a new email come in onto your screen, just as like a little alert up in the right-hand corner of your screen. And I like to have that turned on because I might notice that my number is growing on my emails tab, but I also will be able to see just who the email is from, and I think maybe the subject of the email it tells you too. And so you can kind of see what those emails are about. If it's something that you want to check right away, like if it's, you know, something from someone important, or if it's just some sort of promotion or, you know, coupon or something, you know that you can just ignore it for now. So, and you can turn that on in your settings too. Correct?
Yes, settings, general, desktop notifications. And I'm looking at it now here and thinking I should change my setting here.
What are the options if you're looking at it?
I have new mail notifications on, which notifies me when any new email message arrives. They have one
important, right?
called important mail notifications on. I think that's the one I should put on, just because then you don't get those promo things and other stuff. And so I'm changing that now. And
okay.
Make sure to hit save.
Save, yes.
That's
another tip right there. You have to save. And don't you think it's silly that there's not a save changes button at the top of that page as well? You have to go all the way down to the bottom.
Yes.
And it's the littlest button in the world.
When I was in labs, I noticed there's a save changes at the top and the bottom.
Oh, because it's labs.
Yeah, well, there you go. Maybe it's a lab I have enabled.
Maybe it's a lab.
Yeah. But in the settings, it's all the way at the bottom. Yes.
Okay.
Advanced search is available inside of Gmail now. I'm not one of these Google ninjas that remembers all the little prompts and phrases and keywords and colons and things you can put in there into the top. So what I tend to do is up at the top, if you're searching for an email, if you hit the drop down arrow, it will fall down and let you choose some parameters for how you would like to search for the email. So you can search like who it is from.
Right.
You can search the subject. You can search if it has the words contained in the email, if it has an attachment, if it's within a certain date range. So all that stuff is available if you hit the drop down in the search menu, which is handy. And I know you can do things, and it will prompt you. If I put like Mindy's email address in here, you can do things like I think it's like from parentheses mcarney@gwa.org parentheses, but I never remember what all that.
Yeah, right. So just hit that little arrow.
So just hit all that little arrow.
Yeah.
Yes, and
it's pretty powerful little search. That's nice.
I think so. I think it works
Never
well.
lose an email again. Fingers crossed.
Yes, and maybe part of that is because I use Send and Archive.
Yeah.
Do you use Send and Archive?
No, I do not.
You do not use Send and Archive?
I don't use Send and Archive.
Do you archive your emails separately, or do you just not archive?
I don't archive because I use labels.
I see.
So everything's, you know what I mean? So
Okay.
I do delete some stuff when I know that I won't ever need to recall it or have it again. And then I just want that email gone. But no, I use labels for everything.
So I have that on in my settings as well. Settings, general, send and archive. You can show the send and archive button. It's a blue button that it puts on your screen there. So you can either send it and it will stay in your inbox if you want to keep it there for whatever reason. Or you can hit send and archive, so it sends it off to somebody and then it will archive it with whatever labels you apply to it as well.
Right.
So I like that one. And then when it's in your archive, it is instantly searchable forever.
Yes, right. What else? Oh, I'll mention another pet peeve.
Oh, here we go.
This is more email etiquette, I think, but let's all be very conscious of the reply all button.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. So in your settings, you can choose whether your reply button is a reply button or a reply all button. And you can look to see which one you have on, because your reply button will just have one arrow if it will default to just replying to the sender, or it will have two arrows if it defaults to reply all. I think we should all just think about replying all.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say about it.
Keep that undo send on as well, just in case you want to bring it back and check. Did
Absolutely.
I reply or did I reply all?
Yeah. And who was on that email? Who did I send that to?
Yeah.
Trust me, I've gotten myself into trouble a couple of times by hitting reply all instead of just reply.
I can only imagine.
All right. So I do have one last thing that I think is fun. And that when I was sharing Gmail with the school district the other day, it was, of course, the first question someone asked me: how did you add that photo to your background in your inbox? So I have a picture of my kids as my background of my inbox.
Wait a minute. Okay, I'm going to pause here and come around and look at your inbox. I have never seen this.
Here, I'll just turn it around. Okay, so I have a picture of my kids here as my inbox. Kids. Yeah. So if you'd like to add a photo, and maybe you don't know this even, but there are themes that you can choose from in your as your background for your email. So if you go into your settings gear, which is up on the right hand corner, and drop down and choose themes, or you can just go into regular settings, and themes is actually a tab across the top, I think. I don't know that I've ever used it that way, but I think you can set your theme through there. So it'll give you a bunch of just like stock photos that you can use as the background of your inbox. However, down in the right hand corner, there's an option where it says My Photos. And so if you click on My Photos, you can choose a photo from your Google Photos, or you can upload from your computer or whatever. And you could paste a URL in to pull that photo in that you have. So if you really want to personalize your inbox, or have a picture that makes you feel warm and squishy during the day, you can add that as your inbox background.
I like that. I think that's a nice fun one to finish on.
Yeah, sure. All right, so up to tech nuggets. Who's going first?
That's always the question.
It is.
I think you should go first, Mindy.
You think so? Okay.
Because yours do not look very familiar to me right now. So I am very curious to see what you're going to share with us.
Oh, okay, let's do this. So my first one, and I don't know how you pronounce this, so I'm just going to pronounce it the way it looks to me, and it's called Tricider. And what Tricider is a social voting tool. So what you can do, and it's all free as far as I can see, is that as the owner of the question, you type in a question and you share that question, and I think it's through a link, if I remember correctly, with others. And what they can do is add an answer to the question, and then they can vote on your question. They can offer feedback. So let's say I might send it out and say, hey, do you want to go out for dinner for sushi? And Jonathan might reply, I don't like sushi. I like Thai food. And so he can offer some feedback about why that idea won't work. But it's kind of just a neat way to do some data analysis is what I was thinking. So you can, if you actually create an account, can then download those answers and responses into an Excel spreadsheet.
Scary.
Not necessarily. So it just has some different free tools that I think data analysis to me was always kind of a tricky thing, especially with younger students. But it might be a fun way just to kind of do some math. You know, we talked about how math can sometimes be tricky on a computer, but it's just a way to do some crowdsourcing for information. So you could use it in lots of different ways.
It says here that it's free and no registration is required.
Right. So you can use it, but if you do register and create an account, that's when you get the ability to export it. You can see result charts. You can add your logo and design. So all of it is free, and you can use it without an account, but you get additional options if you actually register and create an account.
I like it. So you're calling it Tricider?
I don't know. Is that what it looks like to you?
It looks like Tricider.
Yeah, it's TRICIDER, tricider.com. And of course, put that in the show notes.
Okie dokie then. I will share an app with you that I came across recently. And it's not an app I'm going to say that I use myself personally very often, but I think the technology behind it is very cool. If you have not seen it or tried it, it is worth it just for this.
Okay.
The app is only available for iOS devices, I'm afraid, right now, but it's called Seeing AI by Microsoft. And it is an app that is designed for the blind and low vision community. Because it uses artificial intelligence to do all kinds of crazy and amazing things that you think wouldn't be possible. So, for example, if you open this app, and you hold it in front of a piece of paper with some text written on it, it will read the text aloud to you.
What?
Yes. Isn't that kind of crazy?
That's awesome. Yeah.
It does some other things too, though. It will scan barcodes, giving you like audio beeps to let you know whether you're near the barcode or not.
Okay.
And then it will tell you the name of what it is that product is, because it reads the barcode, knows what that barcode is, and say these are extra cheddar Cheetos or whatever.
Oh, extra cheddar Cheetos.
Yeah, I'm sure there's better uses
delicious.
for it than that. You can scan people's faces so that you can recognize them and get an estimate of their age, gender, and emotions.
What?
Yes. It's got a mode where, you can take a picture of a scene and it will tell you what it thinks it sees in that scene. So I tried it at home and it said like a woman sitting at a table using a laptop.
Okay.
And so that's really amazing that I think it recognizes the scene.
Yes.
I mean, and it's not perfect every time and it misinterprets some objects, but for people that need that interpretation of what is available in a scene. Yeah. It's supposed to identify color, read handwriting. So, I mean, I think it's just got a lot of great technology that is really a testament to how technology can be used to help all learners or all people out there. It is made for the iPhone, but it does work on the iPad too. Yeah, just try it. And just to get an experience, you maybe don't need this app, but if you know somebody who does, it's good to have this in your back pocket, or just to see the power of some of this technology, because I think some of it could easily be adapted or applied to helping kids with special needs, you know, with reading and different things like that too, or autism, if it can recognize faces and emotions and stuff like that. Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah, it is. Ooh, that's a good find.
Seeing AI, it is 100% free, and it gets like 5 stars in the App Store. So people like it.
All right. So my last one, I should say, is FutureMe.org. And what you can do with FutureMe is send yourself an email to the future.
What?
Yes. So it's, I'm guessing, kind of like undo send in Gmail. So you send yourself an email, and you can choose whether you want to receive the email in 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years. And then it says you can choose a specific date, but I haven't done that. And then you type yourself a letter or an email, and it will send it to you in 1, 3, or 5 years.
Give me the why.
Well, I think it's kind of a fun thing for maybe younger teachers of younger students, I should say, to do to their older students, so they can look back and be like, oh, I remember when
I was in kindergarten.
Yeah,
and
you could even do it, and deliver it in a year, but you could choose the specific date. Thinking, what if you sent yourself an email at the beginning of the school year, and then at the end of the school year, it could provide some reflection opportunity. So this year, I hope to get better at, these 4 things. And at the end of the year, be like, oh, I accomplished those 4 things, but I also am able to do all of these things too. So maybe just kind of a little reflection tool. Besides the fact that it's fun, it might get kids writing who aren't interested in writing.
It's almost like an electronic time capsule.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember Back to the Future where he leaves a message for himself in his pocket and things like that. So it's kind of like that too. Time travel.
Yeah. So just something different to do with your kids, or it's a snowy day and you're all itching to do something different. Give it a try.
FutureMe.org.
Yep.
Okay. My last one is a Chrome extension I found.
Chrome extension, really?
I know. I don't pick too many of those, but I thought this was interesting because I do get asked this a lot from people.
Okay.
A lot of administrators will ask me this type of thing, and it's in relation to, how do I know if this document has been updated or not? And there's not always an easy way to do that. However, this Chrome extension is called Checker Plus for Google Drive.
Okay.
And it will give you notifications when any document in your Google Drive is updated, or when a specific folder is updated. And it lives up in your menu bar with your other extensions. You can click on it and just get a quick access to all your Google Drive files without going to Google Drive if you want to. But I think it's just interesting that it allows you to set up alerts for when you have notifications on maybe a document you're collaborating on. Maybe somebody's in your waiting for label folder and you're waiting for them to get in there and do their part of the presentation or something like that, and before you can proceed. So Checker Plus for Google Drive. It's free. It's a quick add-on. So
the difference between that and just looking at recent activity in your drive would be that you can check it without actually having to go into your drive.
Yep. Right? This will check it for you. It just keeps an eye on your drive, and when something's been updated that you own or are a collaborator on, it will give you a notification.
Nice. Huh. I like that.
Simple.
All
right. So if you enjoy the podcast, we would love it if you shared with others on social media or with colleagues who are looking for new ways to learn about using technology in their classroom. We talked about the people that are sharing our podcast at the beginning. So thank you again to all those people. And for all of you who are listening,
I am Team Carney on Twitter, and Jonathan is at Jonathan Wiley. Our team account is at DLGWAEA, and you can use our new hashtag EdTech Takeout to tag the show, because Twitter now has 240 characters, so we are celebrating with a longer hashtag. If you prefer, you can send us an email to podcast@gwaea.org.
So that's all we have for this episode. Until next time.
This has been the EdTech Takeout. We hope it hit the spot.
For more information on today's episode, please visit dlgwaea.org/podcast.